Okay, I'm just making sure that we are live. We're live. Just getting TikTok online. Okay, let's see. Welcome, everybody to the Overthinking Football Show. My name is George Mokwena. I'm your host, and this show, man, is a very special show where we speak about South African, African, and every now and then we speak about European football, but we focus more on the continent and more in our country because there's lots of conversations that need to be had. There's lots of conversations that we need to be having, but we don't necessarily get that from traditional media. You know, traditional media, it's a former coach and a former player, and it's Thomas, and it's on Supersport, and you guys can't jump in, and there's nobody who can speak. So these platforms are important for those type of things, but to allow us as fans to come together and speak about this football that we love. So today is the members show. The members show means that the people who contribute towards the show, we have a WhatsApp group where on Thursdays they get to pick the topic that we're going to have. A topic is suggested, or topics are suggested. Then we sit down and we vote, and then from that vote we speak about whatever it is that the group has decided we're going to speak about. And today we're going to speak about the impact of foreign and that foreign and local fight at club level with coaches. How does that affect the national team? So we're going to have conversations about around that. Now, if it's your first time joining me, Monday to Thursday at 7 p.m. the show is on. If you want to watch any of the previous shows back, they are available in full on YouTube. I also drop my own content on YouTube. I've got a podcast episode that I put out today. So please support us all over the place. And then if Chiefs, Pirates, Sundowns, Banyana, Bafana, if those teams are playing, we're going to be live doing a watch along of those ones where you can jump in and analyze the game with me as we are watching the game together. It's really an incredible place. That WhatsApp group is even more incredible. Now, it's not just reviews of games and watch alongs. We also do a lot of work, a lot of conversations about the bigger picture things in football, as you're going to see today. So without further ado, I am going to hand it over to the members. Members, Likai Kamu.
We're good. Rainbow T.
So, just for those who don't know, the member show is you're going to hear audio that's coming from WhatsApp. This is a WhatsApp call from the group where you're going to hear the audio from there. You're not going to be able to jump in today. It is a member's perk for them to run the show. So, guys, I'm going to open it up. Big news this week. We saw Mamelodi Sundowns, man, let go of, man, its South Africanness. Yeah? Technical director, foreigner, technical team, mostly foreign outside of Coach Steve, Kennedy. Kennedy is honorary, obviously, but how do you guys feel about that, knowing that Chiefs, Pirates, and Sundowns head coach, man, they're not from here? How do you feel about that? And we'll get into the question of, what that means for everything else. But Nifilanjan.
Mr. Oti from my side.
Oh, Lebza, I think you can start, Lebza. Then Theo.
Yeah, I think on my side, I'm a bit in between. My thing is, if they bring improvements, then fine. But if not, then why are we hiring them? Because we've been down this road before at Sundowns, and it didn't work out well for us. Then you see that we've been exporting coaches at Sundowns, like the likes of Pitso Mosimane, the likes of rulani, mokwena, and Pirates getting the likes of Fadlu out, those kind of things. We've been making strides in terms of coaches, and they've been going out there in the world and representing the country quite well. So now the question then becomes, what happens to all that development? Because the other coaches, I don't think they're going to get exported. We primarily export coaches that coach at Chiefs. Well, I don't know about Chiefs, but
not Chiefs, yeah.
And Sundowns, those are the coaches that we know with certainty that they're going to go out in the world and be appointed outside the country. So it poses a challenge when it comes to that. At the same time, For the longest time, I believed that Motsepe believes in black excellence, and he appoints black coaches at Sundowns and the excel. But I think Trophy has a different direction. I'm like, if it works, fine. But if not, then like the question will be, why didn't you go with the local coach in the first place? If it improves our football, then it's fine, good shot, but it's killing the development of coaches in South Africa, if we are being honest. Because I don't think there's any club like Sundowns where you find the kind of resources that are there, you know?
Okay. Yeah, I'm not sure about Lebs. I think your connection there is a little bit tough. Anybody else want to jump in, guys? How do you feel about the most resourced teams in the country being coached by foreigners? How do we feel about that? Theo? Oh, I forgot who wanted to come in. Yeah, Theo, then I'll go Malume Kutso and I'll go pray. Theo?
Basa ukukhuluma Malume Kutso asikhulume. Basaba ukukhuluma ayisizawuthi yabo basaba ukungena uthi ngoba ngale coach aba bayazi, they don't even know ukuthi ama stats are and urgently ngiyamale, so kuyaphetha. But let me greet you, let me greet the members in the show. Bafethu siyathemba sonke sijabulile nje uSundowns has brought in a coach. For those who don't know, let me be the agent of the show today.
Yeah.
Let me give the background of the coach. I didn't know that. Even yesterday we were busy laughing at that. But once I did my research, and I'm watching for the first time we have the most decorated coach in the PSL, I believe.
Okay.
The coach that has coached League One, the coach that has coached La Liga, the coach that has been in FM. This guy has been assistant to Shakhtar. We watching Shakhtar. I think there was a big thing that today when we also in Champions League was one an assistant coach there. He has coached in a lot of teams, especially in Europe, and then coming to Africa again. But I believe him knocking out Sundowns last season also became a factor, because when you look what he was doing with Esperance, it was very beautiful to watch him suffocate Sundowns, to watch the structure of Esperance, how they were moving the ball. Sundowns couldn't penetrate. They just got one opportunity to bang, and they got no. But it was a very, very, very good thing for them. But the coach itself, I believe that him coming with a technical team, is already making a stand. I'm coming here to do a job, a certain job that I've been hired to do. Not that Mangoba was not good at it or was not going to do it. But I said it before. You cannot come into a house of another person and you have been there. It's not like you are a foreigner. You have been there. You have seen the development, the changes. And then when now you want to move a Makabe to obviously there's going to be situations whereby certain things around you, they're not going to work for you. So I think that's exactly what I said. But I won't lie to you. I would say it is a very, very great signing. Very, very great signing. And I deep down there, I will put it as I said it even yesterday. I wish he can fail. I pray he fails, but it's a perfect signing for his Sundowns. And unfortunately, he's not going to be a person of emotions. I don't believe he's coming here to fix the country. He's coming here to do his job as Fleming has hired him. Fleming, one thing that I love about him, even though he doesn't want to mix business with pleasure. He wants to move the element of pleasure out of the game and just leave people who are coming here to do the job. Practical example, which is we have been rotating about John Cena, about Zeke, only because those people were emotionally attached to them. We have not, I believe Unabi is one of those guys that we have brought in to say, team. So I think Sundowns right now, they are doing the same thing. But as I said, Rome was built in one day, but he was destroyed in one night. It might be the same situation. So, but
can I ask though, Theo? I want to ask. You mentioned something about coach coming in and now ruthless cutthroat. Don't we need Uktotoso a little bit in our football as it's coming up? Don't we need Ntate Motsepe to step in and shield certain coaches and allow them to grow and have those coaches who maybe have a close tie to South African football, who may have the patience to develop those players and bring in other players. Don't we need that? Because the moment we click into the moment we click into business, business, there's no development time. There's no development time. Abo Mudau won't have the same time to become the best right back in the country. He's not going to have that time. Do you think that harms anything, that it's becoming business? And is it a good or bad thing that, the hour nje na usebenza umsebenzi wakhe, at least abo rulani, they had some job security nyana or something like that?
He was an assistant to Bafana. He was from Kelele was the face, and Rulani was the main assistant. But anyway, you get down job, big man. But to tell you the truth, it's not downside to choose. I believe they have to choose. It's either they want to dominate Africa or they want to fix the country. And besides that, OT, who is to say the guy is going to change everything? I believe that we are all coming in with our own suspicions. We might be shocked this guy, as I said, he may shock us. I understand that. The thing is, we must not think of coaches of Figayenzen because we believe that's how a European coach will take away. Look at Nabi right now, OT. He's putting the youngsters together. I mean, I'm put about that Sebonke, but he plays them together. And you like, but but he still trusts these youngsters. So the guy may come in and shock you.
January is coming. January is coming. When you say the youngsters.
Let's get them of these young boys. But this is down to answer your question. Sorry to delay for me. I don't believe it's going to affect Bafana. It's just us overthinking as overthinkers of football. I don't believe it's going to change many things. I believe it's just going to bring stability. I was watching you sleep on the video that was posted in the group. I forgot to post it. I think or something. Like that video, you watch that thing, or you see, man, with this guy is about continuation, but also bring up this novel thing. Uzo player more mental. To say now, I start reading the game differently. And I believe that I don't believe Mutiba will ever play. You might be shocked to see Mutiba that Rulani was playing, investing him, and bring out the best out of Mutiba, and bringing him into in key moments where he knows they will shine, and then they'll stop saying whatever thing, and then eventually start taking it to another fight. So I don't believe we can take him out of the question and that.
Madam Kuzo, how do you feel about just on the surface having foreign coaches in charge of the teams with the most money, or the teams that spend the most money, have the most resources? How do you feel about that in the South African context?
Politically speaking, and greetings to everyone in the panel and everyone listening and the host. Politically speaking, Mr.
Marume Kuzo.
And if you go how feature out.
That's better.
Okay, let me try this. Do you sound better?
Yeah.
So politically speaking, Mr. OT, I can go on a tangent and speak about black excellence, which I think I vocalized well for it. I feel like Sundowns had provided a podium for black coaches, right? And that's on an individual level, not on a national level. It's just like how black people can excel. Just that picture was good for him, right? And good for us as that we can have pointers. And if we're lazy to think, we can say, look at that black coach. He's doing the most. A black coach has won. In the past, I don't know how many years, it's been a South African coach, including Gavin Hunt. If we want to exclude Gavin, we can just say it's been a black coach ever since, However, Mr. OT, I don't want to mislead people and say the previous coach was playing players for Bafana. They never had interest of helping Bafana. The previous coach, I'm not talking about Coach Mango, I'm talking about his predecessor, was vocal in how he did not want to help the national team, in how he felt that players were selected, it was killing his team. He would rather have players not being selected. So we must not glorify the wrong people. He's a good coach as a black person, but if they had interest, Mr. OT, we've been seeing Mayema as a possible replacement. they've benched that boy until we saw which he's not a possible replacement for Chambers one. He's out of our imagination. Same goes for Sipho Mbule. Same goes for Kanaki Mang, that central defender, Russian Deruk, who we had thought would be his best centre back for Bafana when coach Hugo was selecting him and they bought him. And he's been on the bench since. Yes, there might be injuries and all of that, but let's not pretend as if they had the interest of the national team at heart, which they were playing. No. They were playing about Allen and benching Abu Mbule. Abu Shalvili were playing Abu Mtupa, who, by the way, Mtupa was one of the best players who under 23 age. He was on the bench while Abu Shalvili were playing. You understand? And not to be xenophobic, but I'm counting foreign players. Ribeiro came in. He's the star of the national team. I mean, not the national team of the Sundowns. He's the main star right now. We're even saying he must be kind of king, naturalized or whatever. Neutralized, whatever the correct term is. So let's not create a manganga to say if a local coach will always think for Bafana. We have him on record refusing to assist Bafana, saying players being selected for Bafana is killing his team. Now let's go to a foreign coach who literally, Mr. Oti, at point during a CAF Champions League game, had an all South African team. Literally. In a CAF Champions League game, at some point, it was Nkota,
Rile Mahopa
up front. In the middle, it was Miguel team, Kabelo Dlamini. I just forgot the third party. And then at the back, it was UCBC, Sefane, Umako, as well as Van Royen. Just forgot one more player.
Goalkeeper chain.
Oh, no, it was Saleng. I think Saleng will play.
Yeah, Saleng.
And goalkeeper chain. Yeah, and that's a foreign coach playing an all South African team at some point. With the exception of Uhoto, even all the subs, Mr. Oti, with the exception of Uhoto, all the subs that came in were South African. So I'm counting minimum 13 players that played the Champions League game were all South African. Is he South African? No, he's foreign. And some of those players, Mr. Oti, have raised their hand and have managed to go into the national team. I'm talking about Amos BC, Talent Mbacha, Makopa, Rele Mufukeng, who else? China again. Saleng has touched it, Tito has touched it. And I'm talking 7 players straight from Jose Rivero into the national team. Is Jose Rivero South African? Definitely not. So does it mean which once you are foreign, you won't think for South Africa or your actions won't benefit South Africa? It doesn't, Mr. Oti. We've seen, right? You know, when I wanted to make a point last time, but I thought it's not the right time. It won't land properly because Chiefs is not winning. But at this point, Mr. Oti, Ushabalala is ready for war. You can take Ushabalala to war because he knows that he's a player. He's a fully fledged player. He's not a youngster. When he plays for the Chiefs, he plays with the responsibility put on Otebogo Mokwena. He goes into that field as a youngster, not only because he has that ability, but even the coach demands that of him, Mr. Oti. He's like, can I play and that? I don't cover more. If I win this Uzobonagala, literally. So the environment, in as much as people are like, the other player has a good environment at Pirates, but these players don't have a good environment. It's shaping them into iron, Mr. Oti. And this coach, a South African coach, said it's wrong to play them. Let's remember that. The South African coach said these young boys should not be given a chance in that fashion. But an international coach, a foreign coach, is looking at them and is like, okay, besides age, I don't see why I should bench these boys. They're ready. And what does it create? It creates a pool for Bafana.
So how do you get it right? How do you balance it? Because on the one hand, we know that Jose Rivero is a foreign coach. Mara, he's respected Pirates, if we can put it that way. He's respected it in the sense that, you know, Pirates hasn't gone that far away from the gameplay that Pirates has always had. And one of the big questions that Sundowns has right now is, how does Shushan and Piano survive? Is it all down to the personality of the coach themselves? Is it something that the club does? How, you know, the youngster thing that you brought up right now, You know, we only now know, or we're now finding out that Jose Rivero comes from a very developmental background. So how do you balance it, Malume Kutu? How does Pirates get it right? And how can Sundowns make sure that they still keep that culture together?
Look, as a coach, you have to, in as much as you want to talk a good game, but you have to be realistic. In case of Hugo Bros, Mr. OT, he came in and he said, guys, forget about the World Cup. First thing he said, and we still had a chance. He was like, forget about the World Cup. I don't think we're going. We'll try, but I don't think we're going. Right? So it creates, it lowers our expectation. And he said, but we CAF, we are going. AFCON, and he has, understand, to a point where the next CAF was like, guys, if I don't qualify for this one, Mina Hamba immediately, because he's built a solid base. When Rivero came in as well, Mr. Oti, he didn't say much, but what he did was first work on his defense. I don't think people remember that when Jose Rivero came in, he was playing 5 at the back. He took you all on the Pirates and played Kogi, BC, and Da. We're partnering together, playing at the back in the center. And then we had, I think, was it Umako on the one side, and I just forgot the right back.
We know it's Munyano Shandu.
You understand, but at some point we had 5. We gave him time to say, okay, build your team. And at some point we were when we went to big games, would go with 2 defensive midfielders. But now we can go to big games with 1 defensive midfielder and a CM. It's a process, Mr. OT. In as much as you want to build a solid backline, you also don't neglect certain aspects that are important to your culture, your team. For example, Pirates, you know, it doesn't hurt.
Even a wing play, strong wing play.
Yes. Yeah, I understand. For a coach to say, okay, I'm going to work on my defense, but I'm going to allow a Tito without Kibele because this saves my job, literally. Like, literally, Mr. Oates, people don't understand that Kibele literally prolongs Itenaga Coach Rivero. For Kibela for his Sundowns is knocking it around, Mr. OT. If you knock it around, like 5 touchdowns, and then we launch this javelin football, this counter-attack football, Abantu Baba satisfied. But now, if you want to play javelin the whole time, you hear people saying, this is not Sundowns. And just those 2 passes, 3 passes, Mr. OT, and then you launch it, prolongs the time that you are given to build your own system. You understand that, Mr. OT? So I think the current coach, in as much as Mr. OT, and the system at defensive, he has to at some point say it passing and then just to buy Amafet.
Okay. Let me go to prayer.
Good day, everyone. OT, Milford.
Yeah?
How are you, man?
Man, I'm good, man. Tell me about this thing. Foreign coaches taking helmet, Chiefs, Pirates, and Sundowns. How do you feel about it?
Prayer is Butlari, so that we are clear. No, for me, I think it depends at the same time, but if we are realistic, before I go into the details of it, if you are realistic, look at the EPL, it's one of the biggest leagues in the world. The top 5 teams, most of the time they're not coached by England coaches, as much as we have the same personalities with England fans where we complain and blah, blah, blah. But when you take those teams and give them an England coach, what does he do? Nothing. So I feel like it's similar to ours, where we complain.
Okay, I just wanted to ask Premara, you could also argue that 1966 was the last major. Last major trophy that they had was 1966. So could you make the argument that with all of the foreign coaches infiltrating the English game, it's maybe weakened the national team because they can't win?
Possibly so, where maybe there's not that connection with the local players. For them, it's about we are here to do the job.
Yeah.
And when the job is done, we are leaving. For which my worry when I saw the coach is, for example, I love the boy Umani Bongwe. He's a very good player. My worry was what's gonna happen? Is he gonna go for experience, or he's still gonna give the same chances that Mangoba was giving to the boy, given the talent the boy has,
Mm, mm,
or he's gonna go straight to saying, I have to win because I'm
mm,
not South African. These people are not attached to me, so I'll do anything that I can to win. Because the reality is, as much as South African, we want to say we respect foreign coaches more than local coaches.
mm,
If you're a foreigner and you wanna come change our culture, how we play our football, you don't have enough time. I do agree with Abuti Kujo when he says, "O Ribeiro, what he did, what he O Ribeiro, I mean, yeah, Ribeiro, what he did good was still allowed the players to express themselves the way they want, but building his own way of playing.
mm,
So
mm,
that is bought him time in South Africa. So,
mm,
but for me, if all three are coached by foreign coaches, I don't think there's a problem if the foreign coaches will come here and bring a change to the club.
mm.
Because the reality is, how many South African coaches have the credentials to do
Yeah.
so? How many South African coaches were given chance and they are failing? How many South African coaches they are okay with being taken from one club to another, coach 2 months, 3 months? They are
Mm,
not respected and they don't respect themselves. But
mm,
we could
mm,
say they want to feed their families, but all those things, when you look at them and you end up realizing that perhaps South African coaches they don't have the credentials to do so. It's only Pitso and Rulani now and Mangoba who can argue there. But the rest, if they're given chances, will they do something with the team? We all don't know. So the big three, you cannot really blame them. But my argument is, what will the coaches do? Will the coaches allow? Will they link the DVC with the first team? Will they allow the development players to come in and join the first team so that we can have that progression plan? If they
mm,
don't do that, then I will personally have a problem with such a coach. Hence, I love Coach Ribeiro, how he introduced Ukota, how he
mm,
introduced Umukuti, giving chance to these young players, and he
mm,
doesn't put you under pressure when he says you have to deliver as a young player. He plays you, give you time. One time I had Gavin when he started giving Rowan Williams a chance. He said,
mm,
I'm going to give you 5 games, prove yourself. Whether the first game you concede 10 goals or not, I don't care. But just
mm,
know that within 5 games, that's what you have. So we need a coach like that where you will be able to give development to the South African game while there's progression.
mm,
And for
mm,
me, Okato also, for example, because we have known what Navi has. Navi has not done anything so far. He's just he's just that guy with which gives players anger. I feel like the behavior at Kaizer Chiefs is coming from the coach. He's
okay.
too aggressive. He wants an aggressive team. Hence, you see, what Pochettino says, Ushabalala is ready for war. Look
Mm,
at the
mm,
the Kaizer Chiefs defender. Look at how much yellow cards we getting because the
mm,
coach believes in aggression. That's what Tanzanian football is about.
mm,
So he must struggle because he wants to bring that in the South African football where we play football slightly different. We are more soft. We play with our foot and our brain. We don't
yeah.
play with aggression. You have to be hard on other players.
Mm,
So
mm, mm.
Nabi might struggle in that regard, for which doesn't bring change in case of it. We are just regressing. So for me, European coach I don't mind. If you can remember with this guy, I forgot his name. He coached Kaizer Chiefs, went to Sundowns.
Ow.
He's the guy who no,
Yeah.
who's this guy?
Oh,
But you know,
why am I forgetting his name now? Imagine one of my favorite coaches ever,
exactly. I think we are all speaking about the
Ted
same coach.
Dimitri. Ted Dimitri.
That is, he came to South Africa. He brought change. Basically, he created the culture that we have seen. Cookies achieved was one of the coaches that went to Sundowns and carried on with that culture of great football in South Africa. So if we can get a coach like that, why are we fighting?
Mm,
Um, Under Ted Dimitri, we saw the best of young players. We saw the best of older players. Players were expressing themselves. So if
mm,
a foreign coach comes and gives us that, I think we should appreciate that coach than fighting him and say we don't believe in our coaches. My problem with
mm,
accents when it comes to coaching is we don't treat the same coaches the same. The
yeah.
way we were so hard with Umangete and Ulfiki, we are not as hard for example, with Unabi.
Mm.
Nabi has the same stats, but we're not saying anything because he's foreign and he looks like he knows what to do. But has he done anything to improve the team and build a team before? He doesn't have such a CV. He has a team that he has found winning, proper develop, and make it win. So
Mm.
with him, maybe with Cardoso slightly different. He has coached a lot of development. Even though my worry with this coach, honestly, OT, he
Mm.
has never coached him for 2 seasons.
Mm. Mm.
He has
Mm.
never in his life.
Even Esperance
So
was from January.
they know
He
are
only
now
joined them in
retired.
January. Mm.
I think Santa Vigo, I think he has coached 7 games or 8. So it tells you that there is something wrong with him that he's not doing right. I once said even at experience he didn't win League Cup, he didn't win any local cup, he only won the league. He was
Mm.
struggling with cup. And his two defenses will Sundowns fans give him the time to play his game. Yeah, he has a lot of experience when it comes to development. But
Mm.
when it
Mm.
comes to the boys, he has done terribly wrong. Is it the coach that we want to say Sundowns? I doubt. I doubt.
Okay.
Personally, I doubt. So let's see. But I'm happy with you know what you said before. We used to call Coach Ribeiro a plumber, and he has proven us wrong to an extent. We're not happy with Hugo Bros, and I'm one guy that hated the guy with my gut, and he has
Mm.
proven me wrong. So it
Mm.
shows that let's give him the time. But for me, I'm saying let's judge foreign coaches the way we judge our local coaches. I think let's put them at the same place. They're all coaches, and
Yeah.
let's say that's my
I
argument.
wanna jump in and say I think one of the most interesting things that I heard now with everybody speaking was about the cultural part of it. And does it come down, and I'm gonna open the floor, does it come down to us fans too, that man, as the South African fans, they're made happy so easily. That you can play 6 at the back, and you'll be fine. If you're at Mamelodi Sundowns, even if you're playing a defensive brand of football or whatever, as long as you allow them to knock it around, people will be fine. Are we really that shallow, man, as South African fans, guys? Are we really that shallow, Uti? The moment they do those things, we just go, this is what we want, regardless of the score. I mean, Rulani went through a very tough time towards the end of the season last year. But we still remember Rulani in this glowing light as being what, and this and that and that. Ntabeleng, I don't know. You wanted to jump in there?
I wanted to jump in and say how quick we forget, the only reason this team is going to the Club World Cup is because of our own coaches, eh?
Mm.
How quick we forget, eh? But I would say, man, for me, if Sundowns is heading with this coach, are we becoming defensive? Are they becoming defensive and whatever? As a counter-attacking football? Remember last season when they played Sundowns? I would say he outclassed Rulani, how he played. But are Sundowns fans really going for that? I doubt, especially when you talk about defensive football and attacking. I doubt Sundowns fans would be willing to be off the ball and watch their team being attacked. I doubt that will happen. I doubt. I really doubt.
Could you mask it by giving them some possession? Could you mask it by some places during the game, Bambeni boys pass it around? Do you think that Sundowns fans might be fooled?
Nah, I doubt. Remember, what do they call it? Shoe shine and piano. Eh? So I doubt, especially if you're saying we're going to defend. So you're saying Motaung Zwane are just going to touch the ball for like 15, 20 minutes, or towards the end of the game? Or how do you control games? Now, I would say if they are heading towards this thing of saying we're going to defend, it's going to be a problem with the type of players they have. And even if they say coach is practicing them how to defend and all that, hey, his record is not that good. If I was him, I would say this is a burden for him. And I got Kalohanya. It's sad, actually. Not only it's sad because of the only African coach, if he lasts, we're going to have a World Cup. Out of how many 3-4 African countries, the only person who's going to have is Rulani. This is sad, man.
And he might not even make it.
This is sad. And going on the whole foreign quota thing, hey man, foreign coaches come, some it works, some it doesn't work out. And now I would say Hugo, it worked because it's a national team. It will work because the national team is all about knockout football. Because Sundowns, yes, CAF is knockout football, but how long do you sustain it? Are you gonna play against Sundowns or Chiefs and defend?
Okay, so tell me, what if he comes in and he plays the ugliest football, the opposite of what Mamelodi Sundowns plays, but he wins? Let's say end of the season, Mamelodi Sundowns is holding a CAF Champions League in their hands. Do you think Shushan and Piano will matter? And do you think that if he were to do that, do you think Shushan and Piano will have to matter ever again?
Yeah. I think if he does that, it puts everything aside. It will mean he knows his business the same way he outclassed Rulani last season. So if he wins it, it's a big if. It's a big if. Because now he's playing Raja. And remember, again, they have a return leg with Raja. So if Raja beats him, that means Sundowns are on 2 points. That means Sundowns are on 2 points, right? So my question is, do you go to Raja and defend and say, I'm going to play counter-attacking football? Well, we know Northern African teams love defending. They don't care about keeping possession. So they'll love defending. So do you go to Raja and saying, if I'm going to defend, what are you going to defend going to Raja if you're a new coach and you just got beaten by Raja or you draw with Raja over the weekend? It's a thing where I believe all he has to do, the guy, just go to the Saturday Sunday game with whatever Mango was playing and then get a draw, get a win, push from there. If he wants to defend, then he may defend. But I doubt Sundowns fans will be down for defending. I doubt.
Let me do this. Let me do this. Let's go Lebza then Tio, then Stereophonic.
I just wanted to add to that we at Sundowns, I believe I speak for all the fans right now. In the immediate sense, our priority is with CAF. If he wins that, you don't understand. He will receive our backing fully. Unfortunately, at Loftus, when we attend the game, we want to see Nyana. You see nice Nyana there, but results matter over everything else at this point. We want to win things. But
then, Lebza, doesn't it put you in a... I don't know how to put it. Doesn't it put you in a tough situation in terms of the culture of the club? So if he can win ugly, and he brings it home ugly, right? Why would you go back to Shushan and Piano? And obviously we haven't seen him play. I'm not going to act as though I know what he's going to do, but I'm just saying the hypothetical that he wins it ugly. He wins it defending. He wins it on counters. You guys don't have possession anymore. You don't do that stuff, but you've got a trophy in your hands. Next season, what happens?
It's going to be frustrating, but let me tell you the experience at the stadium. When Sundowns scores and we sing Mpoho there on the stands, we forget about the style of football. We celebrate like mad people. So if in the interim, I think our priority has shifted to trophies, but I think it won't be long term. I think people will start saying, what happened to us? We've got trophies, yes, but what happened to us? It's like, it'll be like Real Madrid. You see that everyone was jubilant that Real Madrid won, but they won it ugly against Man City, but they won nonetheless. People remember that Madrid won. They don't remember Madrid were horrible that day. So history will remember us as winners, as Champions League winners. How we won it wouldn't matter in history books. But after that, I think the fans will, after getting that satisfaction, they will start saying, but can we not play better? Can we not go back to our identity? In the interim, our priority is winning that CAF that has eluded us for so long. I mean, we've gone to semi-finals twice in a row. We've been knocked out in the quarterfinals twice in a row as well. So I think...
No, Lebs, I want to say, before I go to Theo, I want to ask you then, if that was to win, would you be willing to sit down and say that maybe Shoeshine and Piano is not the way to win it? Maybe we've been cooking with this Shoeshine and Piano, but we haven't eaten. Maybe it's not meant to win. Maybe you have to go to the other side. Would you be willing to entertain it?
The thing is, last season, I was attending all the home games for Sundowns at Loftus. And you could see the shift of the fans, that they no longer concentrated on football because results were not forthcoming. Yeah. Everyone was like, we were forcing ourselves to sing, basically, to support the team, because we could see that, no, here we are winning by luck, or the referee ruled in our favor, or especially the game against Esperance. You know that I left at halftime. I left the stadium at halftime. I was like, I'm not doing this. I could see what was happening. I was like, I'm not doing this. I left. I drove back home. I didn't care much about the game after that. Because you could see how the players were playing. You could tell that if we play 300 minutes, we will never score. So Shoeshine and Piano is nice. I'm not gonna lie, we enjoy it. But in the interim, we want trophies. Anything that will give us that big apple, we'll appreciate it.
I wanna bring in Theo, because Theo might understand.
My hand is up.
I guess to the phonic then you, Manumekut. I wanna go to Theo, because Theo, I understand into Kulmayo, because Chiefs came to a point where they hired a coach. It's a winning league, Theo. It's a winner. That's it, back to back. But then when it was time to reset, so is Sundowns maybe also risking that? The reason why I'm asking Guti, if this becomes winning football, what happens next season? Does Fleming and everybody say, you know what, maybe DDC needs to play this football. Maybe the women's team needs to play this football. How do you feel about that? As somebody, I know, because you know this.
Let me bring a different school of thought in this thing. I believe that, actually, let's be honest, we had best players that time. You know, Bopaka, when they came back, Romato, and there are two types of coaches that are available. There's a coach like Ribeiro, who gets into a team. Coach like Ribeiro and Baxter, they get into a team, they find the strength of the team, then they work on them. And then you have coaches like Abu Rulani. They find the team that is well, but they want the team to play a certain way that fits their style of play, like Abu Pep. They will change the dimension of how the team plays, like Mourinho. Mourinho will get to a Chelsea that likes to play hard, press high, and tell them, sit back. We're going to hit them in transition. That is style of play, no block, and then hit them in transition. But I don't believe the second Jose, because I just discovered Carlos is also Jose as well. So we have two Joses in South Africa right now. This other Jose OT, I believe in Esperance, he was playing to the strength of his players. You understand? And I feel like we are getting it all wrong, thinking which is going to get you Sundowns. The OT, there's no way you're going to make Sundowns with a low block. It's impossible. It's only Chiefs that made them roadblock. But anyway, a sequel of OT. There's no other team that can make Sundowns defend the whole game. The reason can go OT. Ronald Williams plays from the back. So most of the teams are very low block, meaning people are because low block becomes money Susa. Without the middle guys, you understand? There's no way you will play the ball in the middle. That means now you are minusing two key players, Allen and Mokwena. Overs at the moment. So three, already those players are out of the game if you play low block. So there's no way this coach is going to come in and change that. And I believe they took him because they have a strong defense. Most people are not understanding this. Sundowns is a very strong defense. That's why they concede less goals. So bringing in these guys, it means that now they're saying to him, improve us going forward. Yes, we are good marking. We don't have to worry about that. Now bring a different element when we attack, we become lethal, we become more deadly. And I believe that's what is going to do it to Sundowns, because they are not going to play just to control the game or the ball, but they're going to play to punish their opponents. And that's why, as a team supporter, I'm making a 7-day fasting. It's may employ what they want, which is low block. Because if he comes with this mind that I have, he's going to destroy everything. If he comes with the mind of Jose, the Pirates, no team is going to stop him. Why? Jose knew with the Pirates, he plays on transition. They like to manipulate the ball, play with the ball. So if this guy comes in and then he says, okay, let me copy what Jose did. Don't change many things. Let Sundowns play with Sushan and piano. But I want someone, every time when we get near the box, we shoot. That's if you have noticed Sundowns, they hardly shoot out of the box.
If it turns out Gucci the ugly football, and then I think it's a question for South Africa as a whole. If it turns out that guys, Lentoni South Africa, Ushugela, and all of that stuff is not the way, are we willing to accept it? Because I could venture to say that if Sundowns accepts it, it might change what we call South African football going forward. Because even Jose, and not to be disrespectful, but 23 points away from Sundowns last season, he won the Cups. But has he been uber successful to that point? And another point is that Mabai win the Cup, the Champions League the first time. Remember how people speak about Pitso? They say go to Pitso played some ugly football. Had Amasocha. So are we willing to accept this thing as South Africans? The moment things change, you'll accept a trophy or two and you'll be happy. Mara, I don't know if you get me. Are we willing?
As a former casualty of that system, I will tell you the truth. When we won that league, I didn't care. Whether it was 3-5-2, 2-1-1, I didn't care as long as we were punishing teams. Also, I remember this game where we played, I forgot about against, I don't know, we won 4-1. And that game, it was like, I was like, what was Chiefs playing? I didn't even understand, but the main point is we won. We won the league. I would even make it a strength, 2018. Had we won that league, I was not even going to care what type of football made in Nedbank league. So it's not down to whether they like it or not. Shushan in Piano, if the guy changes, they are going to accept it. Why? Because they are going to retain certain things that they have.
9 years later, 9 years later, Pitio. He sold out. He sold out. But anyway, let me bring it to for example, you wanted to jump in there.
From the chat room to the member show, you know what? There are certain people that are supposed to be in this member show, and but to get to the topic, the appointment of, I want to make one smaller joke. Okay. Since Sundowns are called the Brazilians, they have been colonized by Portuguese, like they did in Brazil. But as equal up.
But are you getting Portugal or are you getting Brazil? Are you getting Portugal or are you getting Brazil? Also.
you know what I mean? Honestly, it's sort of giving, there was an adage that they say, a black man's medicine is a white man. Or should I say, right now in this case, it seems like the medicine that our big teams are going for is foreign coaches. If they bring the necessary quality, I don't mind. Since Jose Riveiro seems to be the living testament of what's going on. But with the appointment of Cardoso, personally, I'm not too sure about it, because you're coming from a club that everybody knows that that side, the type of football they play is different to what we used to here in South Africa. And I'm hearing the question that you asked, that if they play the kind of football they play and it bears trophies, it gives them a second or a third star, would we care? Honestly, the majority wouldn't care. but you will still get those who are just be like, but man, we're winning, but hey, the football that's being played there, man, it's not to make sure. It's pretty much how we saw towards the end of Baxter's first tenure. We didn't care. The way the counter attacks, we were enjoying the counter attacks and the goals.
The set pieces.
By corner kicks. We didn't care. We just wanted goals, wanted to be happy. But once Baxter left, and then we started seeing, hey, it's not to make sure here. And then that vicious cycle began. So right now, it's for Cardoso to prove us wrong. But otherwise, I mean, if you look at, I wanted to ask you, Mara, is the problem maybe that we are pushing against this thing? And I don't want to say that I'm an advocate for any football. I'm just asking the questions. If Baxter took us to a league and Ernst Middendorp took us to number 2, Kadi last minute, and Gavin Hunt almost won us a star, are we not pushing against the thing that works? And maybe that's where the struggle comes from. And maybe, I don't want to say that I'm for this, but I'm making the case, devil's advocate, that maybe the football that Chiefs was playing pre-Baxter wasn't winning football. And we just have to accept that maybe that South African culture that we have is not the one to get us these big things, the leagues, the CAF Champions Leagues, you know. Is our problem that we're pushing against it instead of just accepting it?
No, but we're seeing this. We're seeing this with the national team. That we're basically grinding out results over the suggested beautiful football that we're all looking for them to see.
Yeah,
we're grinding out results, and at the end of the day, we are all happy. I can even I can digress to rugby, that as much as we are the best team in the world, but as far as rugby watching to the eye, that meets the eye, everybody knows that the All Blacks are the Barcelona.
You
know, they play beautiful rugby. But then we grind out results and we make sure that we win, and we win using within the rules of the I mean,
win by 1 point. Don't forget to mention that we win by 1 point in rugby.
Exactly, Talebza. We watch rugby remaining, but
Stereophonic. We've lost connection there. Before I let you in, Butari, there was a hand from Malume Kutso. Let me go to Malume Kutso, then I'll go to you. Malume Kutso, you had reserved the slot. Still a bit sketchy, but
we can hear you.
All right.
There we go. That's the one.
Yeah, basically, what I wanted to touch on has been touched on, Mr. OT, to say, in as much as Coach Pitso is held as the best coach who actually took Sundowns to the Club World Cup, let's respect that. He used to play some ugliest football, Mr. OT. And he would choose some games where he'll satisfy the fans, agale nice football. But remember when Coach Rulani joined Pirates, he used to apply some respect. Actually, I'm a fullback which do not overlap, because Pirates is cheating. Ibe yo ushonga no mulenga aba defend bahleli bayi-3 lapha, ne striker sabo shonga on the right, mulenga on the left. I just forgot the striker at the time. And you would say Ngonga is the one who plays Pirates games, and I don't know who the other one was. Abolanga man would play the other games. So Mr. Uti.
Before I let Stereophonic finish, I want to just jump in and say, guys, you are listening to a call from WhatsApp. So this is a WhatsApp call, the members. On Thursdays, it's members shows. They suggest topics. We all vote within the WhatsApp group, and then it's their show. So it's a members perk for people who contribute towards the show. If you want to be part of them, head on over to YouTube, click on subscribe, click on join, and then in the members area, there's a link that lets you into the WhatsApp group. Now, this is just a glimpse. This is just 2 hours of a glimpse of the conversations we have on that group. Hey, hour in, day in, week in. You can send a message at 2 a.m. Somebody is going to answer you, right? And we have some incredible conversations, as you can already hear here. So if you want to be part of that group, again, head over to YouTube, the Overthinking Football Show. Click on subscribe. Click on join. It's a join button. And then in the members area is the link to the WhatsApp group. I will let you in. We will bring you in and banter you. But you'll be part of that family too. And Thursdays will be yours to tell me more, well, to have more time to speak. It's a perk over the guys who are watching. Let me go to Stereophonic. Stereophonic, I think we got cut off there.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Let me let Stereophonic finish. Because I know also Vutari was waiting, but I just want to give Stereophonic his time just to make the point there.
No, okay. Yeah, but like I was saying is that I think they look to their weakness, cut out their weakness, and then just grind out results. And then obviously, like I think everyone has been saying here that results count because history will remember number one. And bar Spain's dominance between 2008 and 2012, the Brazils of 1970, and all of these teams, they will remember for both winning and playing beautiful football. But the other winners, it's more like, okay, they grinded out the results, they got the wins, and the wins are also bringing popularity as far as fans. And with fans, the commodity is fans.
Yeah,
and yeah. So that
well,
was the point I was trying
can we grow to love that football? Because I'm hearing people speak about Madrid. Let's say Madrid right now. I think Madrid's football before that 5-0 that Pep gave to Mourinho was different to the type of game that Madrid is playing now. When you look at some of the other big teams, even Barcelona itself, pre-tiki-taka was a different game, but somebody had to come in and change it. Is it possible in the South African game?
No, I don't think so. And also, I think if you look at Madrid as an example, there was also a Madrid after Mourinho. Because I think everyone knew that Mourinho's Madrid was that they will soak up the pressure and hit you with the quickest counter-attack on earth. And they had the right players to do it. And they had the right ball players to swing in those passes and then find Bale, or I mean that was before Bale. Find Ronaldo, find Benzema, goal, or find Higuain, goal. And then with even after Benitez, so I'll add Ancelotti. There was at least a bit more possession play, but everybody knew that Madrid were one of those teams that could soak the pressure very well. 3 front players,
everyone go
counter. And I think there are teams in the PSL that do that, but you can tell with some of the players that are there that it's not necessarily their strengths. So yes, some they can grow to like it if it's the winning formula. But but then generally we've seen at some point we sort of get bored by it. But as long as it brings in the goals, and then the goals will bring the bums into the stadiums and views on the screens. So yeah, it's a double-edged sword. Actually, let me put it that way. It's a double-edged sword.
Okay. Here's a question I'm gonna ask after prayer and labs. Guys, please get ready. Can I ask then, when you're changing the style of play of a team or you're a coach coming in, are we more lenient with the guys that go all the way? So let's say it was the possession-based game, but now we're going all the way to transition. We don't want the ball anymore. We don't want to do all of those things. So completely change than Abu Bangoba, let's say, who are wanting to change the thing, but he was trying to keep some of the stuff and make it work in this way. And are we more lenient on those coaches? But I'm gonna ask that question after we've gone through Vutari, then Lebza. Vutari.
So, for me, I want to say something. South African fans, we are quite shallow. As long as something is bringing results, we forget how we want to look at it and say it's fine. But lose one or two games, I did say that yesterday, that lose one or two games, and you realize that fans were not happy. They were just tolerating the type of because you are winning. So we immediately forget that you gave us three leagues in a row when you start losing. So that's where the problem is. We easily forget, but we also want to see our identity. And I think Christian mentioned something very important and very critical. He said also people will choose games where to play very well. So when we say beautiful football, we're not saying play against Real Madrid, we expect you to play power to power. No, there is games where that you need to look at your strengths and how do you use your strengths and defensively. So if you're playing a team that is way better than you, you know. So if we were to look at also the North African, and actually when they get to South Africa, they don't want to go pound to pound with any South African team.
Yeah.
Because they know they play more defensive. But go to Cairo. Cairo is a slaughterhouse. Now they are more aggressive. Yes, they don't have the same abilities as South African players, but they go pound to pound. You get it. I also look at Coach Kevin Hunt. Yes, Kevin Hunt did well, extremely well. But look at him now. Because now the generation of tall players, we are slowly moving away from Bomato, those hard players that we had then. Now Kevin Hunt.
Yeah.
Valerina Hayo, Jambo, you get it. So now we started to struggle because now we're now starting to have more shorter players, more players that they want the ball on the feet, not on the head. They are good with passing, but if you put in a lot of crosses, you're gonna get one goal, then now you have to be difficult. So now he's starting to struggle. So I'm gonna use Kaizer Chiefs as a good scenario with this to answer that question. With Kaizer Chiefs, we're okay with Coach Ennis. In fact, before Coach Ennis, we're okay with Coach with this guy Baxter winning, right? We're so happy Baxter is winning. But we started realizing when now Mato is getting out of commission and then now he's no longer there. Now we're starting George Levis has left. Now we start to see the cracks in that team. You get it? And after that, what have we done? Nothing. Because we're totally away from the type of football where we always achieve it's all about special players. And special players can play only on counter attacks. They will struggle.
Should Chiefs have leaned into that then? So if Baxter was successful, should Chiefs have gone, okay, guys, maybe we should go fully into this thing? Because for me, the big pattern for Chiefs is we have a good coach with great play, and we love the play, né? But it doesn't win. That person gets fired. They bring in an ugly coach. Somebody plays ugly football. That person wins, or gets very close to winning, or gets us to our highest point. Then we go, I know, man, but we're not happy with helicopter. Then the following is you bring in somebody who's not the helicopter, and then you don't win. Then do we not have that cycle? Shouldn't we have gone, okay, Baxter won like this, or even after Baxter, Ernst Middendorp has now proven maybe that ugly football is our thing. Shouldn't we then just go, you know what, from now on, we're looking for ugly coaches. So forget about Atazwane, forget about trying to put the ball on the floor, forget about all of those things. We are going to make this helicopter an Air Force One helicopter. It's going to be a helicopter and Wi-Fi and all of those things, then just carry on that way.
Look, for me, I'm a differ with you in that case. In the sense of the struggle was going to come from, I guess now we need to also change our DDC. Because our DDC is full of special players that want the ball off the pitch. So now they not that link between the DDC and the first team. So now the first thing that if we wanted to go that route, was to say MS also contribute on the DDC. Now we have to look for tall strikers. We have to look for tall defenders. Maybe we have to look for fast wingers when we go scout young players. But in South Africa, how many are you gonna get that are comfortable with that kind of play? So you might find eventually you'll struggle. But when you look back, even Ted Mitchell his football was more onto the wing play, the players were good. We had Boshafo, one or two great players who will be able to play good football with transition football, which come to shove. So I think we just have to find a coach that can strike a balance. Maybe it looks like that coach that can strike a balance, but my argument is, do we in South Africa have such players? If they're there, they are very far apart. They are very few. To be honest, look at Novo. Novo did well under coach Gavin Hunt, and Gavin Hunt was a coach that plays on defenses and on break and then we attack. But to be honest, the reason why Novo did well, I'm talking about Umshini. The reason why he was doing well, even though we're playing on break and attack, we will allow the ball to go through him. We will allow him to be the brain of the game. As much as we are breaking fast, he was the link between the defense and the strikers before we go float in the defenders. But now you move into Coach Baxter comes back. Now the ball moves directly from the defense straight to the strikers. What happens to those good players in the middle? They don't tend to play the game. You get Novo who's in the game, but he doesn't have a role at all. So I think we need to find it, because if you look at Coach Pitso, I'm going to use him as an example. Coach Pitso will find a balance between, he will basically, I think he will read games. I say, I'm playing Orlando Pirates. There's no Coach Rulani. Coach Rulani is smart. There's this thing of cheating, taking a full back directly inside. Now we are overloaded. Let me rather play from low block and we attack. And if now the team that I'm playing with is starting to get tired, now it's my time to start now playing the Chushine and piano. So you will play football with intervals. Anywhere where you play. Even when you was at Ahly, Coach Pitso to play the best football that you've ever seen when he gets to South Africa. But he knew how to play in intervals. So I don't have any problem if we can strike a balance between the two. But in South Africa, if you're a coach and you want to play on low block, you struggle as Gavin Hunt is struggling right now. If Gavin Hunt does not have Jeremy Brockie, he struggles to death. Because Jeremy Brockie is from the era of...
you mean Robla?
I mean, I want to say Robla. He's from the scope and donor game. Now we're starting to embrace more of, we are Brazil, we play good football, we need the ball on our feet. That's how we play. Even Coach Hugo Bros, he has found a balance between saying, allow South African players to play according to their strengths, but if push comes to shove, let's play on a low block. When we break, we don't just switch from the back directly to the striker. Allow the ball to move from the defense to the midfield. They would send a Rushishi who collects the ball and dances along the ball, turn defenders around, and then we break, we score. So we need to find a balance. And I think Okadoso, as Mamelodi Sundowns new coach, because he's the one who started this conversation, he needs to find that balance. He needs to find a way of interlinking the two. If he doesn't do that, trust me, a lot of players in Sundowns, one of the first players that will strike.
Yeah. No, I just want to bring in Ulebza. Just for time, I just want to bring in Ulebza. Lebza, you wanted to say something there?
Mr. Oti, sorry. I wanted to say, it's not necessarily that Coach Pitso played horrible football. I think he found a balance. He looked at the game as it came. I remember there were games where we were frustrated as to why were we defending against opponents that we could easily beat. But I think he assessed our strengths in that game, because you find that other players were fatigued or this or that, or he knew the strengths of the opponents quite well, and he planned properly, because I don't think he believed in possession for the sake of possession. He believed in knowing exactly when to strike. He's revered as the greatest South African manager because he managed to find that balance. He knew which games to play slightly reserved football in, and which ones to play the kind of football we wanted in. I just wanted to make that distinction.
I want to ask a question. I want to ask a question to the guys here. Are we telling the truth about this football that we say that we play? Because when you look at the league, how many teams actually play the type of, I guess, when we explain South African football culture, do we actually have teams that play that? I mean, Makesi, absorb and counter, Stellenbosch, while absorb and counter, they're trying to do something different. You see about Supersport, we know what Gavin Hunt plays. He likes set plays. Are there really teams that play that football, or is it just something that we really love and we look back on very proudly? But the truth is that most of the league doesn't care for that.
Are you talking about regarding the? Sorry, okay. Are you talking about regarding absorbing pressure?
No, I'm talking about, because we. It sounds like we're saying that South Africa as a whole, man, we play this Shushan and piano like football where we have players that have to hold the ball, you know, like it's a very open game. But when you watch most of the PSL games, most of the teams are not doing that.
One would say, now I don't remember Pitso playing ugly football. I would say he was more direct than keeping the position a lot, you know. That's why we had PSC, Bodoli in such spaces most of the time. So he believed in starting the ball at the back, but not playing it. Like, as you once said, you know, you get pressure, create space in the midfield, through ball to whoever you call.
Bolangaman or Botompo or whoever.
Yeah, and then it got tough at some point. Then he resulted into getting Bo Castro, you know, getting the ball inside the 18 area, perfect deliveries, you know. Yeah. But for now, I would say Shoeshine does work when you have the right players in there. But I don't see anything wrong, you know. I think the problem gets to the coaches when you say the coaches become stubborn, especially coaches who play football like that. Whereby sometimes their football requires you to absorb pressure, and instead of playing, you know, one could say, I love Rulani, but one could say Rulani was a perfect example of that, you know. At some point, you need to actually, but he perfected a AFL final, and people didn't even see it. AFL final, he managed to like score that one goal, and then they set back while having the ball. After moving the ball, finding a way to frustrate these the North Africans. So for now, I'm saying it's possible. And regarding this thing, Yahore, we have to play it. No, we don't have to play it. Yeah. But when it's in the culture of the club to play that type of football, even if you're a coach, it's a bit difficult. Because remember, Hore, now I would love to also touch on the Rivero, and everyone talk about Rivero and everything. Remember that people are comparing an established empire to something where someone has to come in and start from the beginning, you know, whereby you're telling me that you're gonna bring a coach who defends in a whereby these people have been winning the league in a certain way, playing a certain type of football. Look at Pitso; they were not defending; they were playing okay football. That's why Pitso used to complain about Kaizer Chiefs defending, you know. Pitso, so these people get there. You get a new coach. There's a culture got club or this type of football, and everyone is talking about. Hey, Rivero came. He brought, yes, Rivero came, but Rivero didn't find a place. He found a place that was falling apart. He had to start by building the defense from the back. This guy has to get there, say, okay, I have a defense that considered less goals last year, by the way. They considered less goals. I have a midfield that's so solid that it conquered most African sides. I think like Ahly struggled to go AFL. Is it in AFL or group stages against Sundowns? Yeah. We're talking about a team that could get goals. If they score more than one, if they score more than two, they can get three. So where do you, as a coach, that's why I said, Manga, when he came to that position, I said it's difficult. The only thing he needed to do there, motivate the players. This guy comes in. Are you going to defend? Is he going to change the culture? We're talking about.
But is there anything wrong with changing the culture? Are we just afraid of change? Because even Shushan and Piano, the Prasten had to come in and change the culture and say, no, this is what we're playing. I'm going to be the first person. It's fine. We'll take the errors and everybody will say whatever they say, but I'm going to stamp Shushan and Piano as Mamelodi Sundowns and we'll go forward. Is there anything wrong with Flemingberg and Klopi and whoever? And I'm not saying it's going to be like that. Let's not, but I'm just asking a hypothetical question that if Sundowns wanted to go another direction and maybe they say, you know what, guys, we're seeing that possession is not winning anything. Up north, they don't care that much about possession. They don't care about holding the ball. And Ahly has won 12 of them. Wydad has got 5, I believe it is. TP Mazembe had 5 from a long time ago. ES Tunis, I believe, has won 2 in the last 10 years or something like that. Would it be wrong for them to say, hey, guys, maybe we're going to go down a different road?
But
are we just afraid of that?
You know, there's nothing wrong with changing of culture, but changing of culture while the club is in its prime, it's different. What
has the prime given you? The prime, I'll ask you prime as Champions Leagues.
Can I give you a perfect example? Who's this guy? Who came to Madrid after? I think who came to Madrid after Laporte? Hey, what was his name?
Lopetegui.
Is the name? Can you make the name again? He came to Madrid.
Julian Lopetegui.
Yeah, Tegui came into Madrid, wanted to play that Spanish type of football. Am I wrong? And Madrid, and I think someone mentioned that Madrid, they play a different type of football whereby they can absorb pressure, they can just counter all day and whatever. He came there trying to change the culture of a team that just struggled for 5-6 months or towards the end of the season. You want to change the thing. He didn't last on that line. So
can I say this though on your example? If Lopetegui won the Champions League first chuck, does Real Madrid look the way that it does? And if Real Madrid hadn't won the Champions League that it won in the last, 10 years from those Carlo years or whatever, do you think that they'll still be playing the same football?
I think no. They would have found a different type of coach, as you say, the changes of football. But it's as you say, it goes with how you found the club, OT. I mean, even if you get into a club whereby, especially Madrid, imagine if a Pep was to go to Madrid, it will be difficult to change a setting that is set to a certain degree. Whereby I'm saying with some of football. No, I'm just making it. People forget, People forget. Man City, how Man City was found, company. Man City was not playing the football that was playing. Remember, Man City used to also do the same. And what was it? It was Mancini. Then it was what's his name?
Pellegrini.
But Mancini was playing more than the same thing.
Can I finish you? When he had to press the reset button, Pep, he had to chase everyone out of the club, right?
Yeah.
Everyone who couldn't play a certain way had to go out of the club. And at that moment in time, they had just won the league. Now, I'm saying to you, you are Mamelodi Sundowns, mid-season now, where now you decide to bring a new coach. Is he going to change? And who is he going to let go? Are you telling me Mokwena?
Here's my thing. No. Oh, what I'm saying is that I think there's still a pinnacle. Pep was brought in because City was winning the league. City was doing all those things, and they were like, we need to go for the Champions League. And when they brought Pep in, it wasn't just Pep. They brought in Chiki Begistan, who was the guy from Barcelona. They changed the development. They did all of that. But obviously, I don't want to make it all down to the coach. But would you say that in us winning the league 7 years in a row, right? Let's say Mamelodi Sundowns won the league 7 years in a row. Invincible, what? Mara, there's still that mountain that with all of the nice play we've had, we haven't been able to get to that mountain. So wouldn't you...
Are we gonna compare OT for how difficult it is to win continental trophies?
Even for Ahly, that's how we're competing. Sundowns only has one. The people they're competing with don't have one. They have 4. They have 12. Some of them. TP Mazembe still has five, I believe it is. Zamalek has 5.
And how many? And how many does Pep have? And since he has been in City, and since 2016.
And what did the owner say to him? The owner says, "Hey, Makai, minanfuna leya. I changed everything for you." So could it be that Sundowns goes? Kobe says, "I want that one. I'll change everything." Fleming, go ham.
My take is, OG, you've been reaching the semi-finals, you've been reaching the quarterfinals. You understand how big that is?
For 8 years.
For 8 years, Pep was in the helm of City, and he didn't win the UEFA. He won it 2 years back.
Yeah, and he's under pressure. You saw him. He was under pressure. Hey, did you see him lose? Was it in the final where he lost? And you could tell that, hey, the hour when I go in Monday.
And I'm not disagreeing, but now I believe, or if you can reach the semi-final twice, or once, and there's a consistency to it. It's obvious you're not doing something. There's something you're doing right. It's just that there's a piece of a puzzle that's missing, where maybe you need to just remember Pep. Actually, the season he won it, you know Pep doesn't like defending, but that season he went to Atletico and packed the bus for Atletico. He said, "I'll go there and do what they do," right? And he was not scared to actually defend, because the previous season, remember, Madrid did the comeback and then it was painful for them. He went there and defended. So what if this season Rulani was gonna be like, okay, I've reached the semis and I've reached the.
But they've changed him, so they've already done something big.
I think we'll see though.
No. But let me let the others jump in. Theo.
Oh, it's funny, man, how we forget. You know, at the end of the day, every team or every team that you go to as a coach, in our requirements of Okala, and those two now, they know what you bring. I don't think sometimes Fleming, they just left and said, let's go for that guy. They saw something in him that was lacking with Sundowns. And unfortunately, it's a reality that we're not aware of. Oti, when did you last see Sundowns score in Cannes? When did you last Sundowns? We need to be honest. We have to evolve as time goes on. And the third part is, are we ready for that now? And I love what
you explain the evolving. Evolving to what?
Okay, I wanna you shining piano is gonna be out of the window. I'll repeat what I said. If they win against Pirates 5-0, Bahama Cross, they will never come and talk about Shushan and Piano. And I love what Abitokito said. There are certain games where you want to move the ball. There are certain games where you just want to score goals and relax, take away the pressure. That's why I'm saying, Umanova no Rulani, for me personally, they would have gradually grown to those things. But thinking with Sundowns, the popcorn team, they want the results manje. And the third part is they are chasing something that can come in now. And I promise you, this guy can come in OT when he goes to play Bombo Ahly, Nabubanbani, Apaki Pasi, Ashai Kolewa, and Sundowns. He will come here, play Shushan in piano, win the games. But as time goes on, after they win maybe CAF Champions League, which I wish they don't. If they do win it, then now the mindset OT is already different. It means now, or when we go abroad, or when we go to Africa, we change the style of play. When we are here, even the teams will know. But if he manipulates that, but I promise you, it will affect the league. It will because the reason why they can't go head to head with Sundowns is because of what Pitso did and what Manova perfected. And I will say this again: whether we know Butikuto Morandum, Manova perfected Pitso style. I mean, not Manova or Rulani. Rulani perfected it. The holding on of the ball, the movement of the ball, everything OT was on point. Just that there was no end results. But now that's why I'm saying you bring this guy. The expectation is we have had the ball. Because we better the previous game OT. I don't understand why Manoba couldn't go there all in. Forget whether the score. You are like OT, as I said this before, it's Sundowns having still fearing their opponents. When they go to Africa, every team there is afraid of Sundowns. Why don't you go there and tell yourself, Maba score and that's your score? You understand? Have that mentality. I go to it, Zoba cautious. The cautiousness at some point it kills the momentum. That's why I'm team second half they come back. You remember the team going to the 75 minutes, and I was like, look at that. And Nani crosses. Why are they not adapting to that? Maybe that's why they brought the coach. I think we're gonna see them scoring Namakana from now on. And that would be an improvement, obviously.
No, but that's why it was at the Aguti. I think the big question that I'm speaking about here is if Sizamile le Shushan in piano. Outside of Sundowns, Sizamile le beautiful football. As a country, we've got 2 Champions Leagues. Only 2. One team, only 2. In fact, the last team to get close to getting one is Chiefs, who played in the final. Played ugly. The whole
helicopter.
So then, at what point does a team go, yes, maybe Leshushain I sevenzeli for the thing that we want? You know what I mean? Maybe because I could, and I'm playing devil's advocate, but I could even say that Nati as the Chiefs, the time we came closest to winning the league, this Dalan. This helicopter.
OT, don't start.
No. I'm just saying. We were crossing helicopter and we were winning games by that, and we came close to winning the league. Ne? Now, it's Sundowns now. They're man. Crosser, man. Two Williams is unsure. But anyway, let me not go there. My thing becomes, at what point after you won it in 2016? You won it in 2016. 2017 and win. 2018 and win Shushain. 2019 and win. 2020, 2021 Mbugeli Chiefs. 2022, 2023. When do they go, to sacrifice what we're doing now? Maybe we need to sacrifice what we're doing now in order to go to a different direction. And I want to make this about the league as a whole. Yes, people are doing those things, let's say. Now you're looking at Sundowns and the 23 points away. Don't you go sometimes and say, yes, then guys, maybe we need to try something different. Maybe as a country we need to sit down and accept Guti Ipolale. Now Hugo Bruce got to the king. He got to the semi-finals of the AFCON. He qualified us twice, and all of us here sit and we say, "Yo, Ipolale Bruce, we hate it." So is there a place, and now this is a bigger conversation, is there a place where as South Africans, we have to accept that Zamile with what we know and love? Let me go to Stereophonic. Stereophonic, Vutkari Lebza.
I mentioned in the group, and I said, Ernst Middendorp has given me PTSD from every time I watch Kaizer. And I think people tend to forget, and I can even go back to Baxter's tenure the first time.
Yeah.
By the time we were in the second half of the season, they were found out. You can do a helicopter, they'll just shoot it down. They knew how to shoot it down, the helicopter. But then now, what is plan B? And one thing we've respected Sundowns is that the way they kept the ball on the ground when they needed to was just a marvel to watch. Especially even when they play against low block opposition, they had a way of just unlocking them. You see. And in most cases, that's what we wanted to see, is that how do we play on the ground? How do we play on the ground? Because on the air, it's pretty much easy to deal with, because then you know that, okay, do I drop back? Or do I make sure that whenever it's gone on the wing, we just pack the box, and then whatever comes in, get our tallest players, and then they just head it away. So that what I want to.
I don't know why
coming
you're
back
making me this guy. I don't know why you're making me this guy. Before you go on, so then can I ask, would it be easier to fix the helicopter that got you to almost winning the league, or easier to fix a football that hasn't gotten you close ever since? So is it easier to plan B helicopter, or is it easier to try and plan a football that, at our height, at Azwadi number 5?
Yeah.
Isn't that the problem here, that we're still pining for that football, even though that football hasn't been, we speak about the Ernst Middendorp as though he's so bad. Yeah, he lost it on the final day. Mara, no coach has come even close.
I wanna bring. Actually, I don't have the stat, but during the bio bubble, we had the second worst defense during that period. The only worst team was Polokwane City, and they were relegated. So, fine, fixing the helicopter can be an option, but to me, the helicopter is literally one-dimensional.
But the one dimension got us the closest to the league we had been since 2015. However we want to slice it, that was the closest we've been.
But then even if you fix that helicopter, we'll still be found out. Like, I want to bring back to 2012, 2030. Remember how Bernard Parker was just scoring goals at ease? And then suddenly, Swasho Sama goals, fella. And it's literally, he was found out. So it's like, okay, how do we solve that problem? Fortunately, with Baxter had a stronger defense to get them through. With Middendorp,
no, but you are. That's why Gere, I know, I get what you're saying, but it's like, we're still, Baxter, like it or not, whether it was found out or whatever, he won the leagues. Middendorp, whether everybody knew what to do, and I know it was heartbreaking towards the end, that's still the closest. So now we're looking, Gavin Hunt, in the Champions League, we all didn't necessarily like that football, right? Well, he was fired before he got a chance to go to all the way. But anyway, those three coaches in a Chiefs era from, let's say, 2003, was it? With Dimitri.
Yeah.
The reality is that the closest we've been to the top of the mountain has been when we were doing the thing we don't want. So at what point do we say, maybe that's the answer? And you're making me defend this point that I don't want to defend, but that's the closest we've been. And maybe if we look at it objectively, we have to say, guys, it was fun doing all the stuff and it looks beautiful and we love it. But it hasn't gotten us there. Similar to maybe a Mamelodi Sundowns. And again, we don't know what this coach is going to do, so I don't want to, but at some point, Mamelodi Sundowns would have to look at themselves and say, look, as much as Shushan and Piano is great and it's entertaining and we've got the possession, while we are holding possession and winning the DStv Prem, Al Ahly has won, I believe it's 4 out of the last 5 tournaments or something like that. Abo Wydad have won. Abo ES Tunis have won. And when you look at it at a grander scale, you even say that South Africa has 2. Of all of the great teams we've had, of all of the iterations, Operation Fat Alles, in the space of 21 years, Operation Fat Alles, Double Treble Pirates, we've had Big Best Vids, Supersport winning it 3 times in a row. We've had some incredible teams, and we haven't been able to win. You look at Bafana, it's on now. Like now is the only time when we're looking up. And when we look at Bruce, all of us look at him and we go, I don't know how to feel about him, but he's winning. Should we not sell out?
I think fixing the helicopter is one aspect. But then when you fix that helicopter, what kind of missiles and rockets do you have on you? Because you can't fix a helicopter and just have the bullets at 9mm. It's like I even mentioned in the group when they're saying no, Nabi's frying is not cooking. It's like, but they gave him a frying pan and 2-liter XL. But you expect him to cook something that's.
But isn't that the truth though? re tla e nka kae e nngwe ka one team ya gago ha e batle. Even from that aspect, team ya gago ha e batle.
Yeah, because to them,
you know what I mean? And it's now our culture that we're not going to spend on those players. So now I'm like,
now
are we not idealistic about this thing, man, Stereophonic?
Yeah, that's the thing. I think also we're looking at Banabako next door. They are cooking something nice, man. The ingredients.
Sometimes about cooking, but raw fish, sushi. We're now baby.
But the sushi, DC. But then bar sushi ki one itolang, you know, the trophy. But no, okay. Coming back to your point, it goes back to the AFCON, where we tried to sort of play on the ground against Mali. It didn't work. Well, owing to a few decisions there and there, but then it didn't work. And then he started to say, "No, I'm going to do my way," and we all kept quiet. To a point, we were all emotional against Nigeria, but you know, as equal up for reasons. That story for another day.
But can I ask a question to the floor? Let me open to the floor again, guys. Yeah. We are speaking about foreign coaches and them coming in and doing all that stuff. What are the alternatives? Who are the coaches that could be alternative that Mamelodi Sundowns could hire? And I wanna take out some of the people. Rulani is probably not gonna come back. Coach Pitso, he's in court right now with Mamelodi Sundowns. He's probably not gonna come back. Who are the coaches in SA football right now that we could put next to Cardoso and say, okay, I'm bringing this one?
No, Oti, before I answer that question,
okay.
I wanted to answer on the helicopter one. I'll be brief on that one. Now my argument is saying, let us strike a balance. Look at your whole helicopter coaches. Look at Ernest in the NFT.
Yeah,
it's rough for him. It's not happening because in 10 years you'll find just the generations of players that can play helicopter in South Africa. It can sustain you 1 or 2 seasons to get it. Because in South Africa we don't have that. Even when you look at Magezi and the other teams, Magezi is playing a low block, but look at when they play the other teams in the PSL. They try to play properly. So you need to look at, I feel like we need a balance. And when I say, let's play beautiful suicide and piano, beautiful football, personally, I'm not saying it's only that. No, games determines how you play. Opponents determines how you play. If you have to play a flat 4 that is not running because maybe you're playing a Chiefs with a debris on the wing and a Modi on the other side, or the guy who's injured now, then you have to play a flat 4. You can't play a 3, hoping someone will overlap. You'll be punished. When you play Europe, you go Sundowns goes to Egypt. Don't dominate the game because you're not gonna survive there. So those are the things I feel like we should strike a balance in between good football and helicopter football. Then once you strike a balance, and then you will be able to play properly. And also, playing on the counter doesn't mean move from defense to attack. These days, technology where you can measure the time from defense to mid and to attack when you break. And like earlier on, use an example with Gavin. The reason why Gavin is able to use South African players to play more like a helicopter football, he's able to transition from defense to mid to strike very quick to get it. During his tenure at Kaizer Chiefs, he will move from defense directly to Ungobo. Ungobo drives the ball 1-2 forward, moves it to Mashiane, and Mashiane takes back to Ungobo, back to the other wing, then straight to attack. So we get that fast transition. That is not directly helicopter football of Ernest. As we know, he defends. Once you break, once the defensive mid has the ball, he shoots it directly. So that's where the difference is. So yeah,
before you move on, I just have a question. Devil's advocate is gonna kill me today. I just have a question. So if we're saying that it's harder to find the players that can play helicopter football, okay. But then by now, if it is overwhelmingly like that with South African players and they play a certain type of football, shouldn't that football have won out by now? Shouldn't it be head and shoulders ahead? Like, for example, if you look at Spanish football at a point, even though it was Barcelona, but Spanish football at a point, they were all small tiki-taka players. And tiki-taka won out at the end. But now we've had X amount of years with the PSL and X amount of years with the type of football that we enjoy and we love and the players we produce. But it hasn't been head and shoulders above the best. It's only been Mamelodi Sundowns. And even then, Mamelodi Sundowns had to literally put billions on the table in order to make that sustainable. So could you argue from that end to say that maybe this thing that we think, find the talent, you'll find the people, or Waihama if you're going helicopter, it hasn't worked when we haven't gone helicopter?
Look, Oti, it's tough to say, right? Because we don't have a footprint of winning, definitely. But also, the reason why sometimes we say things can win out and we don't get that progression, it's in South Africa, we don't have a proper development. And you go to Kasi, in Kasi, the football is not played. The football that is played there, where you scout players, it's good football, nothing else. So you realize that at the end of the day, we don't have a development to develop the kind of play we want, and we bring in a coach with no such development. You go to all the development players, being development teams. You find short players. You find players that want the ball on the foot for them to do well. It's tough to find progression in that, because we can argue that Stellenbosch doesn't play the greatest football, but Stellenbosch doesn't play the greatest football. But when they have the ball, they don't just shoot. Do you get it? Let me re-explain this. So Stellenbosch can play on a low block, but when the ball is with them, they play on transit because they have younger players. They play fast, but they play on foot. It's different from what NS was. NS was
Kufeo was number 2, and you could argue that maybe if he was given another season, he could have worked on some of the problems that came from the helicopter. That's what we're saying about Rulani, that where Rulani was found out, let's say the Champions League, if we gave him this season, he maybe could have changed. So guys, are we being fair?
Okay.
If that makes sense.
Get what you're saying. So the reason why we came number 2 is because of the helicopter. We knew how to defend the helicopter. Just have someone directly with the 2 wingers. Chiefs wouldn't play because the 2 wingers don't have time on the ball to give the crosses. Who coach Rulani? And we also mentioned this. Coach Rulani, the chameleon football was slightly different. When push comes to shove, Sundowns was not playing great football. Sundowns would score one and go for a low block. But you couldn't see the low block because when they have the ball, they utilize the ball according to their strength. So let's track the balance there. Do you get it?
But I think I get what you guys are saying about balance, but it feels like you want to build the balance from one side only, or it feels like the only way to build the balance is to start from what we call beautiful football. And I think my whole point is, I hear you guys, but to this point, and I'm speaking about Chiefs, to this point, what got us closest to the top of the mountain was the thing that we didn't like. Shouldn't we be building the bridge from there, if that makes sense? Because in as much as we speak about, the wings were closed and whatever, the ball that we've wanted to play has not even gotten us to the point where we were second. It has not even gotten us close there. The ball that we've wanted to play, and I know Coach Steve was unlucky in some cases in terms of the finals, but the ball that we've wanted to see has not. And Baxter has won us a league, 2 leagues. Middendorp got us close. Gavin Hunt, even though it's not like a full thing like you're saying, but Gavin Hunt got us almost to a star. Shouldn't we then be going, okay, how do we take helicopter and add one or two different things that maybe we can add on to that, instead of saying scrap helicopter and go to the football that frankly hasn't been successful for us. And where it has and where it has been successful is Sundowns, where Sundowns is literally, Tate Motsepe has put down so much money in the 20 years that he's owned Sundowns in order to get us to this place. For example, to get Sundowns to that place where maybe if we're telling the truth, it might not be sustainable that way. But maybe because we love our football so much, we don't see it that way.
Oti, I think I will fold a bit, but I'm not folding because I understand what you're trying to say. But the epitome of that kind of game that you want, or you're arguing, it's using Kevin Hunt as a coach that is able to strike that. Because Kevin Hunt is the only coach that plays helicopter football, but he knows how to use South African players to play that helicopter football. Kevin Hunt will take any talented player that is good on the pitch and make him play helicopter football. So you look at Vert, Kevin Hunt. It was the only team that could challenge Sundowns when it comes to challenging for the league. Supersport of Kevin Hunt. Then it was because they were talented players, but he knew how to use those talented players. And that's what I'm saying. The way he was playing, we play low block. When we break, we don't just break goof, 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 but we break with a plan, with the idea of saying we move from defense to mid. From mid, there is Pelembe. We know Pelembe is good on the foot. If Pelembe is not open, check it to the other side. When the team shape towards the right, we take the ball back to Pelembe. We know that Pelembe can give us a quality cross. If you look at that, it's helicopter, but with a twist of using good players that are good on the field, according to his.
Kevin Hunt is the only one that will use Zizo. Zizo was a very good player, wasn't very good, but Kevin Hunt was able to use such a talent to his strength. So would you be willing to give Middendorp the same budgets that coaches that have come after him have gotten in order for him to get those players to be able to do that? Because even him, I don't think he was given, if I remember correctly, I don't think he was given that much backing. So I think my worry with what we're looking at is that we love our football and we keep pumping resources into that type of football that's not giving us anything. But we're not willing to say, okay, Middendorp, here's a second season. Who do you want? We'll go get exactly, okay, you need people who are going to cross. It's fine. And I'm just going to use a random name. It's fine. We're going to bring you Dane Clay next season. You're going to be able to play with, we're going to pair Middendorp with Bradley Grobler. We're going to take the, would you be willing to do that? And I think that's where South African football, man, we're willing to pump resources into something that may not be sustainable for all of us. And we keep changing players. Now, Chiefs, if we look at the amount of players that have come in and out of Chiefs over the past X amount of years versus maybe what you could have allowed if Baxter got another year, and I'm not saying he should have, but if Baxter got a third year and you said to Baxter, Mashamaite is getting old, Mang is getting old, or they're really old, look at the league and go get the exact player you want. You know, similar to how Rulani wants a ball-playing goalkeeper and Sundowns goes, who are you looking at? And he goes, okay, I'm going to go get Williams, for example. And then it turns out that Williams suit that thing completely, but you gave him the latitude to go do that. Are we willing then? Say Cardoso comes in and he plays ugly football. And again, we're not saying he will, but if Cardoso plays ugly football, will we as a country and people as Sundowns fans be fine with him going, with Sundowns going, you know what, man, the first season, we saw Mane, you're trying to make mokwena do 1, 2, and 3, and it's not his football. Here's budget. Go and find, search in the league. If it means you're going to make, who's the Magesi guy who crosses balls? Chirambadare. If Chirambadare is the guy, and you feel as though you can take Chirambadare and make him a world-class player and he plays your football, go fetch him. People won't agree, but we trust you. Are we willing to do that, or are we only willing to do that for the football that we enjoy?
I personally, I am willing, and not for NS. NS football, we look back, it's just been defend to strike. I think that will be sustainable as well. But if, that's why I personally feel like if Coach Gavin Hunt was given time at Chiefs and he signs players that he wants, Gavin Hunt was going to be successful at Kaizer Chiefs. Because even the Kaizer Chiefs of today, I personally believe the Chiefs that is coached by Unavi under Gavin Hunt and the Gavin Hunt football, helicopter football, Chiefs was going to be dangerous because you have Shabalala, they are good with passing, Duba. They are good with passing. They know how to pass. And Gavin Hunt strikes with such players. They are good on the field. They're good on, if they have to play 1-2, they can do that. And I think if we can say, if it's a coach like who has the same mentality like Gavin Hunt, which he plays more like European football, it's direct football, but you have an idea what the team wants. And when maybe the next team, like you need to have a plan A and a plan B. And I believe Itimer Gavin Hunt always had a plan A and a plan B. Because even the team that Gavin Hunt coached to get to the semi-final of the Champions League, there were games where you could see like, man, Gavin Hunt can play good beautiful football. He just want the fast transition. So with that, I am willing to say, let's give resources to Gavin Hunt or a coach like Gavin Hunt. If Cardoso at Sundowns, as you said, we're not saying he's like that, but can bring that kind of a mindset, that kind of a game. I feel like there's not much of a problem because, Oti, remember, when it's like that, you can easily transition to good football. You can easily move to a helicopter football if push come to shove. Even though you are more dominantly into helicopter football, but there's a my guy. Nothing else. Like with NS, it was like a tennis game. And by the way, the reason why I'm saying Coach Gavin Hunt hates tennis football. He will tell you that I do play on counter helicopter, but I don't like tennis football because you shoot, it comes back. At the end, there's no productivity there. So with on approach and agree with you, if you get a coach that can balance from helicopter, but with a good idea what he's doing, I think I'm going to fold and I'm up for that.
I'm looking at the time, so I think I'm going to let everybody have their closing statements for tonight. I think it was a good conversation. Let me go to, we'll go Malume Kuto, Lebza, then Stereophonic. Malume Kuto, I know you're in and out, Hanya, but Orinka Tabaye that we've been discussing. We started somewhere, we made it a big convo. How do you feel about it?
I'm just saying, if I'm going to sacrifice my happiness, which is the beautiful style of play, you better give me a cup. If you can't give me a cup, then why am I sacrificing? Do you want me to sacrifice for my 3 years? You must be happy at some point. You understand? So that's just the basic.
Are you willing to sacrifice your beautiful football if it's not giving you cups?
For 1 year.
Okay.
You better make me happy. You see, I'm a coach NS Vela. They must get 1 season and they will get the other season if they win. Simple. Yeah. For me, Mr. Oti.
Okay.
As to keep it up with foreign coaches, local coaches, I don't think that's a question.
Yeah.
We shouldn't dim Coach Pitso's light and call him a local coach. He was a good coach. He won at Sundowns because he was a great coach. Same goes for Coach Rulani and Coach Mangova. Their nationality comes after. It doesn't mean if you're local, therefore. If you're international, therefore.
And your CV doesn't matter.
Well, to a certain degree. I mean, King, Pirates have had Jose Rivero.
Who we knew nothing about.
The same Pirates has had Shelly Nevret. I don't think you still remember that, but yeah, but I'm still.
Okay. Let me go to Lebza. Lebza, how are you going to cap it off for me tonight?
Mr. OT, now, as I said before, my main priority is re-level the games and I plan accordingly. If we have to play ugly to win that game, let's do that. Win the game, come back with 3 points, and move one step closer to winning something. If we become invincible in the league next season by winning some games ugly, some games nice football, I'll be happy with that. And we win Champions League. I mean, the league we already know we're going to win, but the question is the Champions League, is he going to get us the Champions League? Because we can't judge him on the league. We've won it 7 times in a row. We expect to win it again, so that we can't judge him on. We're going to have to judge him on Champions League. He might lose Nedbank. I wouldn't be hurt much, but if we lose Champions League, and he has changed the style of play, then we're going to have a very big problem. Yeah, that's just it on my part.
Stereophonic, how do you close it off for me?
Okay, to conclude and just to come back to the topic of the show is that I think as far as local coaches or foreign coaches, at the end of the day, as far as Bafana is concerned, with Bafana, it matters with what the coach wants to play and how he wants to meet with the relevant coaches. And if his vision is to align with the type of football the rest of the league is playing, then I don't think having a foreign coach or a local coach would make any difference. But right now, Sundowns was the benchmark as to if given a local coach a chance and you support his vision and even the succession after, and I'm talking about Pitso and then Rulani. We saw that it was the benchmark. Then we can see that actually this thing is possible as a local coach. Then now sometimes we look at the Cardoso appointment as this is now maybe 5 steps back for South African coaches. But I mean, it is what it is. But as far as affecting Bafana is concerned, it doesn't have any effect because it will depend on what the vision of the coach of the national team is. And then with clubs, they just have different visions altogether. So that's my 2 cents. That's my closing statements. Let me go to
Butlaro. Butlaro, I'm going to give you closing statements because we were talking. I want to give you a closing statement. How do you feel about today and the topic?
So for me, I think those are the things that we wish for, and sometimes they don't always happen. And if you were to look at all the 16 teams in the PSN, you realize that not all the teams are playing the game that they're talking about. But we need quality, and we need to start producing quality coaches in the country in general if you want to complain about foreign coaches. Because right now, we don't have a coach that can coach Mamelodi Sundowns in South Africa. Mangoba is not. I mean, Mangoba is just fine. Rulani is not there. Pitso, I don't think will ever come back to Sundowns unless something changes. So you realize that who else we don't have such quality. So we need to start producing quality coaches. And my final say is, I hated the coach, the ex-JX Galaxy coach, for example, but you will strike a balance between good football and bad football when there is a need. So we need to strike a balance in all our PSL team. We need to take risks and produce good coaches. That's my say. Later, see you in the group, guys.
No, thank you, Butlaro. This is what I'll say. I think change is scary, guys. Change is scary. But we also have to keep some things in mind before I touch on the main topic. I think at the time when Coach Pitso Mosimane was given the reins at Mamelodi Sundowns, I don't think anybody expected him to be the guy that builds that structure. Not journeyman coach. He'd been with Supersport. We knew what he had done there. He had his stint with Bafana as the assistant and became the head coach. He was exiled. When he was brought in, I don't think there was any trust, really. And if you had told any of us back then, when Coach Pitso joined in 2012, that Coach Pitso would be the foundation for what Mamelodi Sundowns is right now, or that even that he'd win a star, I don't think anybody would believe you. So on the one end, I know that we keep saying that our local coaches are not worthy and no local coach can take Mamelodi Sundowns right now. But I think the beauty of Mamelodi Sundowns back then was that Ntate Motsepe really took a chance in trusting what South Africa could bring. Because we'd seen Bo Nieskens, we'd seen Bo Stoichkov. If you guys remember that time, we'd seen all of these coaches come in that were meant to be high billing, big coaches and whatever, that came to South Africa and didn't do anything. Only for a guy who was sitting Kopitori, same province, same area as Mamelodi Sundowns, who was the guy who changed everything. That being said, it's not to say that Caruso will fail coming in. It is not to say that coaches that come from that side are inherently bad. If you think about the Ruud Krol years at Pirates, if you think about Ted Dumitri, if you think about a lot of the coaches that have come to South Africa and also changed the game, it doesn't mean that they will just automatically fail or automatically do badly. All I will say is that I'm judging a book by what the book is. I don't care about covers. I don't care about any of that stuff. What are you doing in your time here? Jose Rivero has proved himself to a degree. You clap hands. Coach Nabi, as much as we are optimistic, we still have to hold the same standard of saying the results matter. Because the results seem to matter at one time, and they don't matter the other time, and they don't matter this time. I think maybe that's why I was speaking so much about Mirendo, because in as much as we feel how we feel about him, at the end of the day, whether we liked it or not, he was the guy that got us closest to the thing that we hadn't had since the last coach that we didn't feel like that. So maybe we're being a little bit too harsh on some of the coaches and too lenient on other coaches. I mean, if you're willing to spend so much money for Coach Nabi, for example, why weren't you willing to spend that much money on Coach Zwane? If the results are the same, or Coach Ntseki, or Coach Kevin Johnson, if the results are all looking the same. When it comes to the bigger picture, the conversation about the CAF Champions League, look, I don't think I would blame Mamelodi Sundowns for wanting to change things in order for them to do the thing they've never done. Right? So similar to the way that they had to change the way they were running up to that point to allow Pitso to come in and do what he did, something that wasn't popular, wasn't liked. You could look at this situation if they were. And again, I don't know what this coach is going to do. If you're going to look at the situation as a situation where Sundowns is looking at it and they're saying, okay, we've won the league X amount of times. How do we go to the next level? And maybe the next level doesn't look like the thing that we've built before. Maybe the thing that we've built before has reached its limitations. And we are now looking to go, okay, we're going to change this thing now. We're moving forward. We want to change. We want to try a new style of play. We want to do all of that stuff. I wouldn't blame them, although you should say that it's a risk. When it comes to the national team, I don't think it matters. Coaching for the national team in a club, coaching to the good of the national team in a club is very risky because you don't have the job security. Hugo Bruce has all the job security in the world. He coaches, 10 times in a year at a push, 10 times that we'll see Bafana play versus a club coach who's going to have 30 league games, plus the 3 cups, plus maybe if you're in Africa, plus all of the other stuff, where there's a lot more time for people to have more scrutiny of you. And you have to coach for your job. It's just how it is. It's football, especially at clubs like Mamelodi Sundowns, where it's literally they're trying to do something great. They don't have time anymore to sort through coaches and do all of that stuff. I don't expect anybody to be coaching for that. What I expect is for every coach in the league to be working towards making their teams and their players so good that they can be in the national team. That then it becomes the choice of the national team coach to say, am I choosing Aubrey or am I choosing Mudau? Am I choosing a Nico Mobi who's having the season of his life, let's say, for argument's sake? That's all. It's to give him options, but it's not necessarily to coach towards that. I don't think we're at a place there. But we do need to move forward with our football, guys. It's been incredible. That was just a glimpse. So what you heard today on Thursdays is the members show. So the members come in, they pick the topic. We have conversations that are based on what they want to speak about. Trust you, this is topic 1 of 25 that have been discussed in the group just in the past few days. It's an incredible, incredible, incredible place. You're hearing some of the people. You're hearing the people that are speaking here. You're hearing the conversations. Imagine it without a 2-hour cap. That is what becoming a member gives you. So to become a member, go to YouTube, click on subscribe, click on join. I let you in. In the members area, there's a link for the WhatsApp. I let you in, and you can have conversations with me, with a host of other people. And there, hey, it's messages, it's pictures, it's videos, it's voice notes. It's just so great, that group, if I can say so myself. Please also support us content creators, guys. I've got videos that I've put out. I put out my podcast today. I was speaking about Ungeza, and I was speaking about sponsorship. As Tim Sugazi was speaking about it. And then I also mentioned Coach Pitso as somebody that we need to give flowers. So give us the views, give us some support. Please watch it on YouTube because that's where it pays. YouTube actually pays. I'm not monetized anywhere else in terms of views like that. Also support us with the shorts, the reels, the what. Share those things, man. Share, comment, introduce new people to this platform because there's not many places that are like this. There's not many live shows where it's not a former player and a former coach and it's sensitized and you can't speak about this and you can't speak about that. These places need to exist. But guys, we are not SuperSport. I don't have millions of people subscribe to me who give me money every month. I look to you guys to keep all of this running, about rent and all of this stuff. So if you can like, if you can share, if you can watch the videos, if you can contribute, there's a bank account that I have, the account details that I have in my in the link in my profile. If you click on that, it takes you, there's an account there where you can throw in. If you can like the lives and throw in roses and things, those are all money. If you can go to YouTube and give us super thanks, those are all ways to contribute towards this because as much as we love football, we also need to pay our bills and feed our families too. So if you can help out with anything, as little or as big as you want to make it, it's well appreciated. And I promise that I'll keep coming out and giving you the show, giving you the content, giving you a chance to speak, giving us a chance to speak about other big things that are happening, as fans together. But we do need your support. Guys, thank you so much for joining me. I'll see you then on the weekend for the matches, for the watch-alongs. Bye, everyone.